GM Farcaster. It is Monday, July 29th, and you are here with Nonish Prof and Adrian for 29 minutes of Farcaster news to start your day. And we might go a little longer than that. We're going to try not to, though. And we have a special guest, and this is very exciting. We have Beta Shop here with us, Jason, who is all things airstack and moxie protocol today. So we are, the launch of moxie is today. And we're going to be diving into all of that. So welcome, Jason. We are so excited to have you here. This is amazing.
Thank you so much. It's awesome. Really happy to be here.
And I know how busy your day is, so we greatly appreciate it. This is huge.
Couldn't think of a better way to start Moxie Monday.
Aw, we love that. And Adrian, welcome back. I'm so glad you're back. I had a great time with our guest co-host, but I'm glad you have returned.
Well, I am happy to be back. You did a great job with the guests while I was gone. I got to listen, and it was awesome. And don't get used to me because I have another vacation around the corner.
Don't get used to me. So she'll be here this week. Next week's not so much. We have a lot of fun little guest co-hosts. We'll talk about that later. But we have some guest co-hosts. I have one more I need to schedule, but it'll be fun. We'll have fun without you, even if you can't be here. But first, we're going to jump into a few things. First, we have to give this shout out to Kay Daniels and Miriam. Found this on our fridge this morning. So we love you too. We have to say that. I love that you have that as your background today. It's so cute. It was my other thought, but I went Moxie. I went full Moxie. Couple quick updates from the Merkle team. Improved direct cast group management on web. We're thinking through how to improve token gating. If you have feedback, wish list items here, please reply to this cast. On our radar, OpenSea API hiding is too aggressive for NFTs. True. ERC20 balances, automatic removal from group. Yes, would love that. Similar to Collabland. What else? And this is a great question for you, Beta Shop. What anything you would add to this list in terms of what they're looking at there?
Yeah, well, I can tell you already that obviously we're very excited about the Moxie fan tokens launching, and there are a number of folks who are already building really awesome ways to do gating or kind of special access, special features for people with fan tokens. I can tell you that AutoMod is launching with fan tokens built into it, so you'd be able to say automatically moderate or kind of include or only enable people to cast if they have your fan token. All sorts of variations there. I know that there's a number of other clients that are working on things. There's a streaming app that's launching today that's also based on fan tokens. So you'll be able to only watch people's video streams if you have their fan tokens. And I think with DCs, it makes total sense, right? So if you would have, in order, once you buy someone's fan tokens, whether it's a person or a channel, and I know we'll get into what all that means, but for DCs, it makes total sense. You can then say, okay, this group chat is only available for people who are, fans. So yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, this is, I love that, all these different integrations and everyone building on here. I think it's going to be, just keeps getting better and better. Couple other quick things, and then we're going to jump into all the Moxie stuff. This from V, shipping some feed improvements today. You should see more recent stuff. If you follow a lot of people, the algo will be better about exposing you to more users. Thanks, CM Lad, for these improvements. Have you noticed, and Adrian, this is a good question for you because you've been vacationing a little bit. When you came back, did you notice any big improvements to your feed? How's your feed looking?
You make it seem like I wasn't on the feed while I was away.
I know. I mean, I'm pretending like you took a real vacation, knowing full well you didn't.
I noticed over the weekend, my feed is great. It is, I'm seeing casts from people I follow that I haven't seen in a long time, and I'm super excited about. And then a lot of casts from people I've never seen before. And I think it's, I don't know if it's people I follow, if it's people I follow who follow, but, or if it's, guess what, we're so back and people are actually casting again. And
I think it's the feed.
We're converting lurkers. We're converting lurkers to casters, maybe, but lots of just new stuff, and I love it. It's great.
I'll tell you what I'm seeing, and I have no insider knowledge on this. What I'm seeing, and a few folks that I've been talking to over the last couple of weeks, over the last few days, have kind of all said the same thing: is It seems like what they've done is they've lowered the bar for the power badge, and which is great because I think the power badge was kind of like a have versus have nots, and it's kind of like, and now they're saying, okay, we're just going to forget about the system of like either you get power badge stuff or not power badge, and instead say if you're active, you're gonna show up people's feeds and then make the feed learn and kind of get trained based on what you're interested in, which I think is 100% the right way to go. I think the feed of the last few days has been awesome, like hugely refreshing, seeing a lot more new voices, seeing, you know, a lot of things from channels that I've been following that I was like, where is the content? Now there it is. And so I think this is a move in the right direction. The feed should learn what you're interested in. And I think it's great.
I agree with that for sure. It's great when the feed learns what you're interested in and we get a better algo for sure. And this is related from B, also feed experiment, more channel casts. You'll see more casts from channels you follow in your feed. Warpcast is smarter about identifying popular casts and channels and bringing them to your home feed. 50% of users will start seeing this today. And if successful, we'll roll out to everyone next week. You know what I was just thinking? I don't feel like my feed has changed as dramatically. I'm wondering if I'm in the other 50%. So, which is interesting. They really should do that with us, Adrian. It would be kind of fun if they just
A/B
constantly
test.
put us in different A/B. Yeah, we could be the A/B test. It would be pretty funny.
Well, one thing I've noticed is people are complaining about notifications being off and a lot of spam.
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about it. There's the Hotmail spam. There's like a whole bunch of
Yes.
users whose username has like a Hotmail email, and I've seen zero of it. So I think I'm still in the B part of the notifications tab. My notifications are super clean. Buoy is surfacing some spam for me that are people mentioning GM. Like I'm seeing it in other places, but I'm not seeing in Warpcast. So
I think what happened is, so if you go back to what I said with they relaxing the criteria for the power badge. Again, I have no knowledge of this. It's just what I'm thinking. Is that so? Therefore, more people are now appearing in notifications, because before it was filtering out for most people power badge only in notifications. And then it seems like a lot of just overall kind of things are popping in notifications. I think it also just, in terms of whether you like it or not, I think it depends on what kind of your use case is. I say like launching Moxie right now, it's like I need every notification possible, right? It's like I'm like living in Buoy. The more WordPress notifications, the better. And I'd rather like wade through tons of stuff to get to than not miss something. Whereas I think other people, if like they're more like casual, kind of like, you know, everyday, you know, Farcaster users, are like, whoa, where is all this stuff coming from? So I think it just depends on the use case. I do think what, you know, Buoy is fantastic. I mean, like we couldn't launch Moxie as well as we are right now without Buoy for sure. Yeah,
for sure. So shout out P-Fista. I'm still going to call him that. I know it's Fista, but I'm always going to call him P-Fista. So because fantastic product, and he's been killing it with the different updates he's been doing. We're going to move on to two more big items. Now, listen, we've been trying really hard, and we've been doing a great job of not dealing with zero politics on this show, except for memes. So we have to do these memes. So this weekend, somebody went to Nashville and ended their talk with "Have a good time with your Bitcoin and your crypto and everything else that you're playing with." And this has launched a lovely meme. Everything else you're playing with. This is from Ramiro. Me puts on the toe spacers. Oh, that was perfect. And Adrian also, everything else you're playing with, yoinks an imaginary flag from someone I call a friend, but it was probably a bot. So I enjoyed that. And also, have you seen my stable coins? I did think that was funny. And that will be the only politics we'll talk about today. Moving on. But I will say this, it is nice to see discussion of crypto at a high political level. And I hope it continues to be discussed in future town halls and debates and such like that. And then a couple other quick notes. This was at EdCon. And so for those who don't know, and there's probably only like one or two of you who are watching right now, Nouns has been trying to get some noggles on Vitalik for 3 years. So mission accomplished. And shout out to Chris Carella, who is at EdCon talking about all things Nouns, but also Nouns Builder and Farcaster and Purple and doing the Lord's work. So thanks, Chris, for doing that. And then also the Olympics. The Olympics have started, so we want to shout out to Bracket, who has given our Hyper Sub a complimentary pack. You do have to claim it, I think, before noon today, or maybe 11:30, because they're going to drop at noon. So GM Farcaster Hyper Sub, gift from the Bracket team. Grab a complimentary pack with this frame for the Olympics. There's one for Wow Wow, and then in the replies, there's one for Mole. So go grab that. And later today, I think there's even a watch party with Ted for one of the events, as well as tennis. So 6 Olympic brackets, 3 base tokens, 1 TED stream. Learn more in the Bracket channel. And let's shift gears now. So that's like just sort of, I don't know if you guys want to comment on any of that before I move on to Moxie. I was very excited to see Vitalik in Noggles. You have no idea. That made me so happy. So moving on. Let's talk all things Moxie. So Moxie's launching today. Let's go over some basics and talk about, like, you're calling this empowering the Farcaster economy. It's a community-owned and community-governed protocol with efficient markets on Farcaster. Is sort of the taglines. And then we go on to talk about the mission to grow Farcaster GDP. And I want to kind of go through all these different things. So let's start with what is Moxie? Why are you launching it? And so for those who don't know, and this is their first introduction, what is Moxie from the protocol perspective and the token perspective?
Yeah, sure.
Before
so
we get into the fan stuff.
First of all, awesome to be here. And for me, this is like a major milestone in a long, long journey. And so if I back up a bit, in 2016, long time ago, like 8 years ago, I started a company called Peepo, P-E-P-O. And we had a vision with Peepo that we basically said, what if we were to flip the script on kind of the creator economy? And if we were to enable creators to keep 100% of what they earn, and enable their followers, fans, supporters to kind of support each other and earn with them. And we started thinking, like, what could this, like, a new type of creator economy model look like? That was back 8 years ago. And the problem back then was, one is, like Ethereum was like really still nascent technology. There was no layer 2s. There was no way to do kind of like, on-chain social transactions at scale. There was no base to be able to kind of launch, like we're launching Moxie on base, which is super efficient. The wallet technology wasn't there yet to enable like fluid experiences like we have today. When you do transactions in frames on Farcaster, it's like none of this stuff existed. And there was no Farcaster. There was no social network. There was no community. And we actually had a go of it back then. We tried to build a social network, like one of the first early, on-chain social networks. We had about 10,000 loyal users early in the Ethereum community, but it was just way too soon. And we started building some of the scaling technology back then at the protocol level, and again, way too soon. And over the last couple of years, first time, I'm super early at Farcaster. My FID is 602. I've been a huge fan from the beginning. From the moment I joined the platform, I said, the hardest thing to build is community. Technology is actually not that hard. It's community is the hardest thing to build. And that's where I saw like this kernel of, even when we were just a few hundred people, you could see that there was an amazing community developing. And so I committed our team like right then to saying, okay, we're going to just go all in on this Farcaster platform. And, Dan and V and the team, they're building these Legos, and you can see how it's building step by step, that like anyone could build stuff on top of this. And said, if we can have this community to continue to grow as it is, and to bring the kind of people into the platform that we have, then we'll be able to layer all sorts of things on top of it. And so now you fast forward, almost a couple of years now, and we really think that the foundation is set to be able to layer some really interesting but appropriately organized kind of economic incentives on top of the Farcaster protocol. And so we just tried to design here is a protocol. So first of all, Moxie is not a client. We're not building an app. We're not building, where basically it's a protocol that anyone can build with. And I think one of the most encouraging things for us so far is that even on launch day today, there's already, dozens of apps that are being built with Moxie. And so it's really cool to see people embracing that ethos. At its core, we wanted to build a kind of a win-win kind of positive sum way for people on the Farcaster protocol to support each other and to benefit whenever the community is growing and when your friends or your followers and channels are growing. And that's like at the very top level. So then you get to like the how do we do it, right? And so the way the protocol works is the foundation of the protocol is that you can buy fan tokens. Think about fan tokens almost just like being a super follower, like a paid follower. You can buy fan tokens for any entity on Farcaster. And to start, those entities are for any member, for any channel. I consider channels like communities. And for the overall Farcaster network itself. And so like if you want to just like place one big bet on Farcaster overall, you can become a fan of Farcaster. In the future, there could be other entities. There could be other ways you can become fans of various things on Farcaster, but those are the three main entities to start. And when you become someone's fan, you have the potential to get access to special features. So we talked about at the beginning of the call, there's developers building ways you get, say, group chats you can only be in if you're someone's fan, video streams you can only get access to if you're someone's fan, being able to vote on initiatives only if you're a fan of a channel. People are building all sorts of things with this now that you have like this financial layer on top of it. And you also get to participate in any rewards that are earned by the subject that you are a fan of. And the reward mechanism, what we've done is there is a token called Moxie that is required in order to buy fan tokens. So it's a liquid token that's launching today in about an hour and 10 minutes. And that token has value determined by the market. It's up to the market.
By the way, you look incredibly calm considering that. 1 hour, 10 minutes. You're doing pretty well. I'm like shocked right now.
Thank you. And so, thanks. Now you got me off. That's
Sorry.
great though.
No, that's great. I want to throw him off his game. Just keep him on his toes.
Got my Moxie mug too.
Oh, nice. We need that water. Nice.
So you can buy fan tokens for any individuals, any member, any channel. You get access to certain benefits, and then there's an immediate benefit in that there's rewards that are issued into the system. So there's this emissions. We've allocated at least 15% of the token supply for Moxie to just giving people rewards for building and kind of creating great content on Farcaster every day. And there could be more as well.
Pause there for 1 second. So you started doing that. So airstack is the original way that we knew you was through airstack, which is amazing. Creating this social graph data place that you can sort of dive into all that. And you had launched something called Not a Token that was rewarding for certain things. So this is sort of taking that initial concept and making it a little bit more formal, a little bit more that other people can build into. Is that so part of it, right?
Yeah, in some ways, I'm almost shocked that no one actually figured out that like Not a Token was going to be a token. Like we had it in the name, but like we never told anyone that this was actually going to turn into a token. I give the community more credit than I should, but go ahead, Adrian.
Farcaster, we are the most earnest, genuine people. So when you say Not a Token,
we're going to believe you. I never believed you.
Right, you're right. You're very smart. So what we did with
it was refreshing. There were too many damn tokens. I'm sorry.
What we did with Not a Token was we built this thing inside of airstack that was called Social Capital Score. Really fancy, stupid name, and horrible at branding, but cool concept. And the Social Capital Score was a way basically to identify how much influence someone has in the Farcaster network. And simple way to think about it is like when you take an action, whether you like something or recast it or comment, how many other people are likely to see that in their feed and be influenced by that action? We built this kind of way to measure that. And then
you might say it's measuring their Moxie, if you will.
It is measuring their Moxie. I love it. Yes. And this was not like, accidental, right? The thought process here was if we can get this kind of social capital score to then equate to the value of someone's action on a cast and people earning, then we could potentially turn that into a creator economy. Because the idea is, let's say if every time you like something or every time you reply to something, you're spending some of your social capital to signal to other people that this is valuable. And therefore, if you were to earn something, then they could also get a share of what you've earned if they engage with it as well. So And this was like very purposeful. So we launched Not a Token at the end of March. We played it out for about 3 months, giving Not a Token points based on social capital scores for every cast. It worked. Like literally, there was only one time where we felt like, was there any kind of, there's never anyone, no one's been able to game the system. There's only one time we found like, okay, a couple of bot accounts were skewing some results and very quickly adjusted to that. But what it does is, so now we translate that into Moxie. Now we turn it into its actual real currency. And when you create content on Farcaster, when you cast something, depending on who engages with your cast, you can earn Moxie. And every time you earn Moxie, though, it's split with the people who are your fans. So the thing is, we're all helping each other in like a win-win environment. So if I appreciate your content and I appreciate your content, I'm likely to become your fan. So I get a percentage of kind of the rewards that you earn whenever you're earning your rewards. And the way that these rewards are split is whenever something's earned. So let's just say I earned 1,000 Moxie for a piece of content I created based on who engages with it. Then 50% it goes to me, and the remaining 50% is split 20% to my fans, 20% to any channel that I casted in, and 10% to fans of the overall Farcaster network. And the theory there is where every time something's contributed, no matter who's earning the rewards, it's all contributing to the growth of Farcaster. And ultimately, this whole thing works if we have millions and millions and millions of people on Farcaster. So we seeded this as this first kind of rewards economy that is just basically built right into the way the protocol is designed. But now anyone can come in and offer rewards as well, following that same system. So we've had people who said, okay, I want to launch a game on Farcaster, and I need people to promote my game. So I'm willing to provide a reward for anyone who casts about the game, and I'll also provide rewards to anyone who reaches a certain level in the game. And now you have like this win-win environment where it's like, okay, if I post that into a channel that I'm a member of, and I'm a fan of that channel, and other people are fans as well, that channel can decide, okay, yeah, we'll take this sort of like advertising or promotion of this game, because if people like it, we all will make some benefit of the rewards if it happens. And so that's where we're trying to create this win-win environment where it's not competitive and then we also did want to create something where we want to go away from this kind of, I feel like tipping's gotten a little spammy. Maybe it's a lot spammy. It can be, yeah. And we want to do something just like you earn rewards based on natural behavior, organic behavior, and that it's a way where it doesn't feel like it's taking away from kind of the positive growth of the network.
So there's no, like, you're not directing. The only direction you're doing really is where you're casting, essentially. Like that's the only thing that might add to, if I'm casting a particular channel, they're also earning from that if I'm earning a reward. But there's no like, I can't be like, and I want this all to go to one place or whatever. It's all sort of happening automatically in the background.
Yeah, now developers can, right now we've set up this kind of splits of reward splits. Developers in the future could create other kind of splits. We've also looked at ways where you could have, a percentage of rewards flow to charities or kind of, nonprofits or causes or things that are supporting builders. But to start, this is just, the idea like why the channel gets a split is the channel is giving you distribution. And so you have a choice every time you cast something. If you don't want that distribution, don't choose the channel, then you keep that 20% to yourself. But if you want the distribution, you got to give up something to get the distribution. And then it really makes the channel members have more of a skin in the game. They're like, I can actually kind of own a piece of this channel. And by owning a piece of the channel, I could have some say in like the future of the channel, if the channel wants to go in that direction. But also, if the channel takes in content, I get rewarded for it, for participating in the channel.
So that's a good question. So how is are the rewards going to the channel owner, or how is that working in terms of distribution?
Yeah. So we're starting off today with these fan token auctions. So every time a fan token is created, it goes through a two-step process. The first thing is there's an open auction on Farcaster for any member to bid using their Moxie for these auctions. And the way that the lot that's available in the auction is just we take the number of followers that the member or the channel has times 10%, and that's the amount that's initially available. So that's up for auction. Sure. And the reason we designed it this way, that's why there's no speculation from the beginning. It's just like everyone who thinks interested in the channel can kind of get in at the same price. So everyone gets the lowest price that would clear the auction. They get those fan tokens for. And then at the end of the auction, it goes into a smart contract. where anyone can buy infinite amount of those channels tokens, and it increases very slightly whenever there's a new person buys, and it decreases slightly every time someone sells. So that's just
So it's a
the way
little
it
bit of
works.
a bonding curve there, but
It's
not
yeah,
a
it's what's called a
severe
logarithmic
one.
bonding curve. It's
Okay,
pretty. It's not very steep. It's not intended. It's intended
gotcha.
like you buy fan tokens because you want to get the benefit of having them, not to just be trading them. And so it encourages developers to come in and say, okay, I'm going to build things that are make utility for owning these fan tokens, because we should have a pretty stable base of people who are owning them versus it just constantly being kind of like just trading cards. So let me get
Right.
back to your question for 1 sec. So at the end of a fan token auction, so let's say the 100% of the proceeds of that 100%, 90% of it goes into that bonding curve. So basically to provide for future liquidity. So that there's always a reserve for anyone who's buying or selling either their fan tokens.
Okay.
5% goes to, in the case of the channel host, the person who created the channel. And they get that in the form of their own fan tokens. So fan tokens for that channel.
Okay.
So that they also have skin in the game on the channel. So they start off owning 5% of the channel's fan tokens. And then 5% goes as a protocol fee, which is just burned. So it's a benefit of everyone who's kind of playing the game. And then in the future, whenever a reward goes to the channel, the reward is just split amongst all the channel fan token owners. So at that point, the channel host is just like anybody else on the channel. You started it, so you start off with like the 5% supply, but all the kind of the member participants of the channel who have fan tokens are now kind of owners based on the percentage that they own of the fan tokens.
Okay. So, and then the fan tokens are purchased or received via using the Moxie token to purchase that, essentially.
Correct. So,
Right.
so today we start with the first thing we do today is we release the airdrop to 53,206 Farcaster members qualified for the airdrop based on their engagement prior to July. All based on kind of, the whole thing we did with not a token and FAR scores and all kind of stuff. And with that airdrop actually has a vesting schedule over 180 days. So every day for the next 180 days, 1/180th is released from the vesting. But while it's vesting, you can use the whole amount to buy fan tokens. And so anyone who wants to buy fan tokens who is eligible for that airdrop can just jump right in. There'll be a frame in about an hour. You can claim your airdrop and start to say, okay, I want to use this to buy some fan tokens. Or you can go out to the market and buy Moxie on the open market and use it. And essentially, when you buy fan tokens, you're locking your Moxie in the contract.
Okay.
And when you sell your fan tokens, you get Moxie back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, question about purchasing or buying on the market. So, I saw that you're going to have it on. It's on Gate.io. It's going to be on KuCoin. Is it also going to be on DEXs like Uniswap or other, similar?
Absolutely.
For
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So our job is to build a protocol, get adoption of it, help it grow. And in order to use the protocol, you need to have the Moxie token. And so we'll make sure that the Moxie token is available on all the best places for people to get it.
Okay. And in terms of where they can find those links or find those locations, they should be looking at your account for all of the like official announcements.
Yeah,
essentially.
betashop.eth, follow me. It's not just that I want more followers, it's just like there's a lot of scammers out there.
Right,
And
exactly.
yeah, the only place that you can claim your airdrop is in a frame that I'm gonna cast. The only place that you can start to participate in the fan token auctions can be from airstack and my account at betashop.eth. And so just stay diligent. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you do want to check your Moxie to see what your airdrop is going to be, you did drop a very cool frame that does show you how much Moxie is coming your way. It will also show you, and this part's important, it'll show you which wallet it's going to.
There you go.
Yeah. And that's double check that, because guess what? You get one guess, Adrian.
Some people have connected wallets that maybe don't support what chain is
I've
Moxie
already
on?
reported that.
Yeah,
Moxie's on Base, correct?
On Base.
Is it on
correct.
Base?
Yep.
On Base.
Okay,
On
so
Base,
if you
yeah.
have a wallet connected that doesn't support Base layer 2, you should change that, or else it goes into the void. of.
So I've already sent a message to Alex and said, okay, it's going to my ETH safe. That's not going to work. So we'll get that figured out. But it was really funny. I was glad I checked that, but I thought that was a really, by the way, the design of that frame, really cute. Just really
Thank
liked
you.
it.
Thank you.
So
One
I
of the
hope you
things
did
that we we have a guy on our team, Black who's designed all the frames, and our entire team is amazing.
Yeah.
The front end team that's worked on these frames, the whole team's like, it's insane. One of the crazy challenges that we gave ourselves for the Moxie launch was we said that every single action that the user is going to do at launch has to be done in a frame. And so you'll be able to go to the airstack website and you'll be able to browse all sorts of information. There's a lot of third-party devs who've already built stuff as well that you can do. But if you want to take action, the on-chain actions are all in frame on Farcaster. And so that's a crazy constraint. It's not the, it's not the most elegant UX yet, but it's been fun. It's been cool. And we're glad we did it. Yeah.
And this was very cool. So on the airstack.xyz, you can see the different fan tokens that are going to be launching. So that is a good place to get information.
Yeah.
And
click on that notify there for 1 sec. Just want to show, if you click on that notify,
like on this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
So basically, we just sent you a DC that will have here's information about that fan token auction.
Okay, awesome. And then it'll alert me when.
Correct.
Sorry, my computer's like, you have too many windows open, and I'm no longer working. But that is very cool, and I have seen that. I've seen the notifications going out, which is great. And then we also have on the Moxie.
Hey, Prof, can I just go back to that though? Just one clarification that some people have asked. So the creation of a fan token or community token is permissionless. So it's there's a DWR token that he doesn't need to say I'm creating it. It's token based on it, like entirely permissionless. Same with channels.
Yeah. So a couple things on this. One is we've had over, I think it's about 5,000 requests right now for users and channels to launch their fan tokens. We purposely took a kind of a slow, kind of walk, crawl, run kind of approach that, like, we're launching, I think it's 20 today, 40 tomorrow, 50 the next day. It's going to be a couple of weeks probably where our team is curating them just to make sure everything's working smoothly. The fan token auctions last 72 hours. And so we want to get past, like, okay, the first set of fan tokens started, launches, kind of auction started, the next one, and then they closed. It's all working. Then we move into, okay, pretty soon it'll be entirely permissionless. Anyone can launch a fan token whenever they want. In terms of whose fan tokens are being launched, 90% plus of the fan tokens that are being launched are people who specifically ask for themselves or channels right now. The remaining 10% are for famous people and channels, like really well-known kind of people on the platform who a lot of people have asked for. And the way that we kind of take it is, it's just basically, I can be your fan. And that's, whether you're the subject of a fan token, you don't have any obligation to do anything for fans if you don't want to, but we didn't want to limit people from being your fan. I mean, especially if my actions and other people's actions are helping that individual or that channel earn rewards, that we feel like anyone should be able to become a fan and participate in those rewards as well. Sort of like souped up fantasy sports. Like, it's like LeBron James doesn't get to decide that I can buy, put him on my team, in my fantasy sports league. Now, he doesn't necessarily need to do anything for me as a fan, but I benefit by having him on my team.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes more sense to me now. I get it.
And that answered two questions.
Quite the fantasy team. The DWR, Jesse Pollock. It's quite the fantasy team. I like it. And Greg, you can get some bread. Does bread?
There you go. Exactly.
I want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
There's bread. There's bread involved.
I love the bread. Greg's amazing.
Right?
Yes.
I love the bread. I think that's amazing. Adrian, what was did you have another question?
Just somewhat related. So channels, though, I guess it maybe answers it if you're kind of curating it, but channels aren't yet fully decentralized, I think. Not fully, right? Is that right?
Correct.
That channels aren't fully in the protocol. So is there challenges you're facing having to, at this point, do we have to wait for them to be decentralized to create?
No, and we, we think that we contribute towards the value of decentralized channels with things like Moxie, right? Because now when channels become decentralized, anyone can create a channel and from the get-go, turn that channel into like a DAO. where you have community owners of the channel, not just a single person owning it. You could have, voting and other things that are based on channel ownership. All that's now built in, so to speak, in terms of a protocol available for everybody to access and make use of.
So we have a question about auction mechanics. So where are the auctions happening? I'm assuming they're happening on is it the airstack website or the Moxie site?
So first of all, so Moxie doesn't build any front end.
In a frame.
In the frame, yeah. But let me kind of go. So Moxie is a protocol. Moxie does not build any front end. There's no frames, no apps, nothing built by Moxie. The idea is that anyone can build on Moxie, sort of like Farcaster and Warpcast, right? And then airstack is building some of the first user experiences. The focus of those user experiences are in frames. You'll be able, though, to go to airstack's website and to see lots of details for any live fan token auction, be able to see who's been bidding. You'll be able to see kind of your own bids. But frankly, third-party developers are going to build way better stuff than we are. And so there's people, like we said, here's the code, run with it. If someone wants to build a real-time tracker of fan token auctions, we're not doing any of that. And so we hope that we're going to see more and more kind of devs just throwing stuff out there. And we're starting to see some already, seeing some amazing projects already.
And how long do the auctions last? Like, is it a set time, or is it until the certain amount of tokens are gone, or how's that work?
Yeah, the auctions last for 72 hours.
Okay.
And so three days worth of auction. And for the first few days, all the auctions are set to start and end at the same time, and then they'll start to be scattered throughout different times so that it's more equitable for people in different time zones. It was just from an ease of management standpoint for our team. It was the first few days. They're all starting at 1400 UTC, which is 10 a.m. Eastern time, 7 a.m. Pacific. And then they'll start to be like every hour after a few days.
Okay. Yeah. So this is kind of like the soft launch, the first launch of like the first group of them, and then it'll start to get into more of a
exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. And are there any tokens launching today, or just user ones for auctions?
There are so the Farcaster network is launching today. There's some channels that are launching today. And then it'll really start picking up pace tomorrow and the next day. Yeah.
Okay.
And if anyone wants to launch, just let us know. We've got a long queue, but we're adding to it every single day.
And then in terms of when you say that Farcaster network, is that going to be like, where should people look for these frames, so to speak? Like, are they going to be on that user's profile? Are they going to be in a channel? Like, where would they find those if they haven't done the notification?
Sure. So if you go to, first of all, track my profile. I'll be casting a lot. All the frames are set up so anyone else can share them as well. And then if you go to airstack.xyz, you'll see basically for anything on airstack, you'll be able to create a frame. So you better frame for individual auction, for all the auctions. So if you see, for instance, down below where it says Linda is starting in 48 minutes and 47 seconds, there's a button to the right to create a frame. Right now that creates a frame that is this is upcoming. Once it's live, it'll be the live auction frame. Okay,
great. Yeah. Okay. And then you can share there. Okay. So this is probably the best place to kind of see everything in one spot. Exactly. And then you'll see the frames on the timeline as well. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. What have we not talked about that you want to make sure everyone is aware of? I'm conscious of the time since you're launching a token in 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't want to keep you much longer, but that's why I want to make sure, like, what else do people need to know? We definitely want to make sure they stay safe out there, but what else?
I just want to say number one thing is stay safe out there. I have 170,000 followers on Farcaster. I take that like humbling. It's crazy, but look for that account. If someone else's account does not have 170,000 followers and asks you to do something, it's ignore it, right? So that's a nice signal, right? So look for betashop.eth and follow the trail from there. Do not connect your wallet to any website that asks you to claim something. We will not have any claims on the Moxie website. You can log into Airstack, but you're not going to claim anything on Airstack. You're not going to sign any transactions on Airstack. You can just log in. So just be safe out there. And then the second thing is like, look, we really are passionate about this being a community-owned, community-governed project. So give us your feedback. We want this to be a win-win for everyone in the Farcaster community. we only win. I mean, we collectively, if we find a really awesome way for Farcaster to grow to hundreds of thousands, to millions, to several million users in a very productive win-win kind of environment. And so, give us your feedback, participate, give it a try, let us know what you like and don't like, and we're all in this together. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
Oh, amazing. Adrian, anything else before we let him get on with his day?
No, I think we should let him get on with the day.
I think so, yeah.
I got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, go. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
And you're not seeing it, but the chat has been super, super active. Everyone's really excited for it. Lots more questions, but people are kind of permissionlessly answering each other's questions, and we'll post some to the feed. But thanks for the time.
I'm happy to come back tomorrow and do more. I'll let me know anytime you want.
We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you.
All right.
Have a great day, and we'll do a little wrap up. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jason. Bye. That was great. That really helped me a little bit to understand a few things, because I was a little confused on, I think part of what my hesitation is from past experience, not this particular token. You can call it PTSD, whatever it is. But it's the, fan tokens or creator tokens that we've seen with like Friendtech and even Rally. We were talking about this with Gregarious from Snickerdoodle, who used to have a Rally token. And Rally, the biggest problem with Rally was that it was a closed system. It was a like you couldn't trade this there was no real open, way to approach it. So that to me was never made sense. This makes sense. I hope that it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out in reality. And I've said this on every single launch of every single thing, is that until I see things in action, I don't understand them. Like I said that about frames. Like, I mean, I need to see things in action, and then it starts to make sense to me. I do have some concerns about people getting aggressive with wanting you to pump their bags with creators. So that's my only concern. But, maybe I think I understand this a little bit better now that it's, I feel like it's probably not going to be as big of an issue, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. What are your thoughts on all of this?
Yeah, no, I feel very similarly. And it's like, you can look at something on paper, but how does that actually play out in reality in terms of what behaviors you're going to see? I understand the concept, right? Of kind of like, I really appreciate Beta Shop's kind of the win-win mentality that he keeps pushing. The goal to grow the Farcaster GDP, because it's like, and we talk about creator economy and how do you kind of send rewards to creators? How do you send rewards to the community? I like the native aspect of it, and permissionless. So, and the analogy for kind of the LeBron fantasy of creators out there, because you and I have talked of like, why would we ever do a token for GM Farcaster? Because we don't want to do it ever. And then kind of, I guess the idea comes to is, where does the value come from? Right. So unless if it's pure speculation of, oh, token's going to go up, the value comes from speculation, there's nothing there, it's going to crash eventually. If it comes from like, oh, but if you believe there's kind of value in a creator, and that's just like there's a value in a brand or a value in, then there could be something here. And
I think, so I'm cautiously optimistic. I think I do think this is a good direction. Like it made sense. There was a gaming token that came out like probably 6 months ago, and it was for gamers who like to support those who stream, right? So there was like going to be 8 of them. They were some of the biggest streamers, all this stuff. And it made a lot of sense because they were going to have token gated discords and things like that. Because the easiest way to do some of that, like token gating, is to use crypto. It's way easier than trying to do it with fiat. And the pushback from the gaming community was that they didn't want anything to do with crypto as soon as they knew that crypto was under the hood. So there's still a little bit of that when you think about the normies out there. For a crypto native audience, like you jump ahead. Like they get that part of it where you don't have to convince them, but there's still a different issue then. So
even in our very
PTSD.
crypto native, but even in our very
Yeah.
crypto native audience, and scroll up in the comments, there's too many to see. But the question is, wait, is this a security? I don't want this. I don't like.
Right.
There's still fear, and like,
Sure.
what does that mean? Just as an individual. So
there's always going to be those risks and those concerns, and that's always another concern in my head as somebody who lives in the US. So it's definitely, there's a lot of factors here. But I think we just have to see it play out, and I'm excited. I think it's definitely energizing. I think Farcaster is excited about it, so I'm excited to see how it plays out. So
we have a lot of people in the live stream today, so I think that's indicative of people are excited.
That says a lot. Yep, that says a lot. I mean, we have a lot on Unlonely. This stream is crazy.
And I think people
should
take should take Beta Shop's invitation for feedback seriously.
Yeah, I agree.
He's one. I guess I didn't know he was had such a low FID, but he's really, pushed back and given a lot of constructive feedback to the Merkle team over the years, and I think he kind of shows that he should be just as open to feedback for something he's building. So as you're using it, definitely, I think lean in and give the feedback, because
absolutely. And in the way that we do, like in a nice constructive way, not in a Twitter way. Let me put it that way. Sorry, Twitter, just kidding. You know what I mean. Okay. And with that, anything else that you want to chat about real quick before we wrap? But this has been amazing.
Happy Moxie Monday.
Happy Moxie Monday.
Should we reiterate that you should not try to claim an airdrop on a website today or from anyone in your feed?
Yeah. Double check where the frame is coming from. Like if it's being shared by Beta Shop, it's safe. But if you're, seeing, just double check, make sure it's correct, make sure the username matches, all those kind of safety checks. Be safe out there. And but have fun. Yeah. And we'll be back tomorrow. So we've got a little different schedule this week. We're going to be back tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. We'll also be replaying this at 11:30. We'll be replaying tomorrow's show at 11:30 as well. And then Wednesday, we have Vibe Check with Doofy, episode 9 with Nonlinear. So that should be a good chat. And then Friday, we're going to be at Basecamp. So we're going to be coming to you live from Basecamp and FWB Fest, doing a little recap on Basecamp. And also we may, no guarantees, we may be streaming a couple things live from actual Basecamp on Wednesday evening, but we'll let you know about that. That's still pending. I haven't even told Adrian that part.
I assumed we're gonna.
I was chatting with the base
stream as much as we can.
I was chatting with somebody on the base team, and we might be doing a little something. So we'll see. But we're going to try and we'll at least on Friday bring you a recap of all things Basecamp and a little preview of FWB Fest. And that'll be Friday morning. And with that, anything else that I missed? All right. We have a bunch of stuff, but we'll talk about that tomorrow.
We're going to save it for tomorrow.
We're going to save it for tomorrow. And I'm excited. We'll be talking tomorrow about the Moxie launch and kind of recapping what happened, what's going on with different fan tokens that are launching. And so we will see you tomorrow morning. And with that, everybody, bye-bye.